Okay, we're back. I had one of these non-chrome ones left. I wasn't sure if I had one left or not. The ones I get now are chrome, so this one's a zinc one. These look better on polished parts and that aren't chromed. Alright, so now we gotta get a little gasket for that. And that should be over here in our gasket set. Let me just figure out which one it is. The leather one is not the one you're supposed to use. You're supposed to use the one that looks like a gasket. It's either going to be paper or nylon. The paper ones are usually red. The nylon ones are usually white. Appears that the red's going to be the winner. So the red ones are going to look like crap on this cover. So I don't like the red ones. Now, we don't really care if this thing works or not. So I'm going to go see about finding an Evo one. I have a 5-speed bike. Whatever I did with it. Let's see if I can find a nice little nylon one to go on there that's nice and small. It won't look like crap. So I'll be back. Okay, we hit pay dirt. So here's a nice little thin nylon washer. It goes on tight on that 5/8 diameter. You have to kind of thread it on, which is good. So there's the part number for it if you want one for yourself. Being a 1980 part, it's probably a 5-speed neutral switch thing. If you read the fine print that's all faded, you can probably read that. Alright, so just thread that thing on there. It goes on nice and tight. That's a good sign. That means it should seal good. Bingo. Throw it all the way on. Alright. Perfect. There it is. Missing socket. Okay, we don't need a lot of torque on that, but enough to seal. Okay, now, moment of truth. Will it shift? Oh, look at that. He went all the way into low gear. Look at that. Shifts like a dream. Looks good. He's got a neutral switch he'll never use, but he also has the transmission that gets low gear now. So, which one would you rather have? Spend a couple bucks or have it shift? Your choice. So that'll be in your junk box if you want it. So we now have a working transmission. Alright, that hardly took any time at all to do. Now if you wanted to use that ugly red gasket, you could have. Where it ran off to. There it is. So this gasket here is a nice big large diameter red piece of crap that sticks out right where you can see it. I don't know why they use these. So anyway, this isn't exactly where that belongs. This fits on these sports valve gear shaft real nice too. That's actually what it's made for, but I never like them there. It helps to know what parts are available for all models so you can mix and match components. So there you go. Alright, so that part's done. Now we're going to go do the last thing for tonight. We're going to go and spin this thing on down so it'll fit. Oh, we didn't show you why it doesn't fit. We told you, but didn't show you. So here's your gasket set again. So inside of here is a piece of cork. There it is. Piece of cork. So said piece of cork fits into the case. Right over here. So this fits down inside of here like this. Then the big seal goes down and pushes against that edge it's hitting against, that shoulder. And that's what seals the outside of the seal, so it won't leak on the outside of the seal. Pretty simple. This is the correct one. See how it fits right in there nice and get a little clearance, but it fits in. This is the one that never uses the cork. So when you go to put it in, it does not fit in very nicely. And if you put it in first like this and try to assemble it this way, a lot of times the cork will go and crush against it and lock it up. But the biggest thing is when you try to put this seal here in here, this double lip seal, it's just about impossible to put over this without having some kind of special sleeve that they don't make. I could make one if I wanted to, and then that would push right in there without a problem. But the problem is they don't do it that way. So the solution is to take this and cut it down. Or you'd have to make that special sleeve. Somewhere I have one of those. Not for this application though. There it is. This is for a 45 seal. So see how this is made? So the seal would go over this, expand out to the size what this here would be. So I'd have to make one that was this size here to go over this outside lip. So it'd be flush with this. The gear would go on here like that. This would slide over that. And then you could put the seal right on top of it. And then you could probably use this cork without a problem. But you have to make one of these. I don't feel like making one. It's easier just to turn the OD down to the correct size and make it work the correct way. But if somebody wants to make one, that's what it looks like. Maybe someday I'll make one, but not today. Secret stash of tools. Everybody's got to have a secret stash. No secret stash, you got no tools. You can always tell the good mechanics from the bad ones by their tools. If all they got store-bought crap, they don't know a damn thing. If their stuff's all custom made, obviously they know how to do something. Alright, turn that thing down. Fancy caliper. Boom. 220. $305. That'd be 85 thou less. In case you're counting. Okay, you want to put enough pressure on there to hold it, but not so much you're going to mar up the surface, because that is the sealing surface there. This is not. So when it quits wobbling, you're pretty straight. Okay, now I'm going to turn that down to 85 pounds, or about 80, whatever. It can be a little bit bigger than stock. Doesn't have to be perfect. 35. We're getting close. Probably make a go with that. We'll go ahead and put it on the rest of it. Okay, that should put us within 5 thou what we want. 4.5 thou. Pretty close. $20.5. How's that for getting it in there? Someone said they didn't know how to use a lathe once. They're morons. A lot of those around. Okay, we got to find a file over here in the file department. There it is. Something to fit between the chuck and the part. Preferably not impale you with that part, but it happens. So we're going to file it on this side here, and that'll put a chamfer on the back side for the inside edge. I'm going to turn the speed down a little bit so we don't burn the file up. Ah! Don't run your thumb into the chuck, it hurts. Don't jam that in there like that either. So that was very dangerous. So first thing I did not put that in the palm of my hand like this. Here, because it would be a hole in there right now if I did. You hold it like this by grabbing it. That sits out the back. So when this jams in real hard, see how it comes out this side, it shoves it in there and locks up because it's just a wedge. It drops down and locks up in the chuck jaw. Now I shoved it in too far, so my thumb got jammed into the chuck, which just makes it hurt a little bit. So very dangerous. So remember that when you work on these things. In case you don't know what that was all about, over here is what we were filing on. So this jams in there like that. See how the file stays put? That's because it wedges in. And when it's turning at higher RPM, it just kind of kicks toward you. That's what's so dangerous about it. Actually, in this here, you just roll it like this on this side of the file. So now this has got no chamfer. It's got chamfer on both sides, so it won't eat at the seal. Simple. But dangerous, like everything else we do around here. OSHA did not approve of that. Improper use of tools. Be sure to tell them. Do all of this stuff at your own risk. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Called being a big boy. Figure out how stupid you want to be. So now I'm using the feel method to center it. I like that method. Pretty close. It's a little bit off, but not bad. So you watch the wobble. See the wobble? It wobbles. That's because it's not perfect. Now if I kept working on it more, I could get it closer, but it's close enough. Time for a gear change. Oops, do not put the belt on top of the gear oil or grease, because it's not good for it. Alright. Cheap lathes have belts. Expensive lathes have gears. Real expensive ones have variable drive belts. They get expensive. So belts were early, then go to the chain, then they went to the gear, and then they went back to the belt. Depends on how much money you want to spend. Okay, now we're going to grab a file and a piece of paper, something fairly non-aggressive, and something that's not full of oil. So I'm thinking this piece here looks like one I've been using for a while. So this is going to polish up our seal surface. So this is 1200 grit paper. So what you do is you put that on your file, like that, preferably not like that. This is not what I was using before. There we go. I'm going to use it like this. Get right in there close to the edge. And this will give you a nice flat surface to work to. Get the paper so you can hold on to it pretty good. Okay, see the polished area on the file, on the paper? That's the part we were using. Now this keeps the surface nice and flat. If you just put your finger or thumb on top of that and polish it that way, it would not be flat. It would not look as good either. So now we have a nice, smooth, polished surface here. So it's nice and smooth. So now the seal will be happy. See, my fingernail does not grab on that anymore. So that's how you make a part that's good. So there you go. Now we talked about this surface over here had to be flat to seal. And see how we got a sandpaper finish on there? Now how flat is that? We do not know. But we know how to find out. It's called flat table and paper. But not with the caliper though. Put that back. Here's a nice piece of whatever grit this is. 120. Perfect. My favorite color. So we're going to sand that until it's nice and smooth and flat. So all of this work is not in the Harley Davidson service manual. This is in a dumbass Tatro way of doing things. So, see how it's getting smoother? Let the very end go all over the place. It masks the marks. So if you see any straight lines left, you know you haven't finished. Okay, that looks pretty good. But that's 120 grit. We have finer. Got more 120. 180. Thought we had some 220 floating around somewhere. Yeah, this is 180. Oh, that doesn't even want to move, it's so aggressive. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking this new 180 is more aggressive than that one out 120 was. So, anyway, there's your finish we're getting to. Definitely aggressive cutting paper. But the finish is pretty fine, so you don't really see any marks anywhere. Alright, I think that's pretty good. So if you want to use finer paper you can. I know there's a piece of whatever that was over there, 1200 or whatever, 800. Problem is it's not very flat. This paper is pretty flat. This is high-end paper, pro grade, which means the grit in it's very, very even grit, and all big and small ones mixed in, which gives you big scratches and everything. And the paper lays pretty flat on the table too, which is a plus. Regular paper bows up. Gives you a false illusion of flatness. Alright, so this is good to go. Clean this all up and we're done with this project for now. I think that's about it for tonight also, so we'll be back later.